what about sexual abuse in men? I'm here with Jimanekia Eborn from, you can find her on facebook.com/Jimmy, Jimmy, Eborn, Eborn. And I'm Cathy virtually from theintimacydojo.com. Thanks so much for being here, Jimanekia.
Thank you for having me.
And I think there's so little visibility that in men, boys being abused or raped, and a lot of people are just like, oh, that's not a thing. And I'm like, anyone can experience that. And
statistically, 1 in every 10 males have been sexually assaulted.
And they, at least from what I've heard, a lot of people think that's underreported. Like, that's probably a low statistic. Because it's
extremely underreported.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's sad and scary because there's no more safe spaces, or there actually have never been any safe spaces for men that have suffered sexual trauma. When they try to get help, they're often shamed.
Yeah.
And so that's scary.
It's hard enough as a woman. I was abused as a child, and it was hard enough for me to go walk that path and find groups. But there's quite a bit of support out there. And we had one male in our support group, and I know that he felt very alone and isolated. You know, we tried to be as welcoming as we could, but there wasn't a lot of space. Like, he said, I can never tell anyone outside of this group because they'll just shame me.
That's the scary part. I've worked in different spaces. I did work with juvenile adolescents, all males. And a lot of them were sexually assaulted by people in their own families. You know, most sexual assaults are done by someone that you know. So it's like, if someone in your family is assaulting you, who do you go to?
Yeah. Well, and then if society says if you do that, then you're gay, which is horrible, or there's something wrong with you, or no, that shouldn't have happened. No self-respecting man would let that happen. What do you do?
Or you're weak.
Yeah.
Or what are you complaining about? You just got laid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leading to future trauma and future scars and not feeling safe anywhere.
Well, I think that just perpetuates the rape culture we have, where we're telling men that they can't have feelings, they don't have consent, they don't get to own their own bodies and have feelings about it being touched. It just...
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I also see more so lately, and I'm kind of glad and sad that there's been a lot more stories in the news. Yeah. So glad because finally someone's talking about it. Sad, 1, that it took this long.
Yes.
2, of course, that it's happening in general.
Yeah. It's and having survived it, like, I know how... Even as a small child, when this was happening to me, I felt like I should have been able to stop it. I should have been able to make him not do those things if I just did something right, or I was a better person. And I can't imagine the pressure in a society where men are taught from infancy that they're supposed to be powerful and able to fight off anything. That there's so much pressure on that. So the shame must be very intense. Is there something... Go ahead.
I do have friends, I know, I have a friend that wrote a book, actually, about his sexual assault, and it took him so long to process it.
Yeah.
Because of those masculinity traits that are pushed upon, like, it had him thinking, like, was that assault? Did I want that? And I feel like that's also something that women struggle with as well.
Yes.
But of course, it's a bit different because they have that strength pushed upon them.
Yeah. I don't think it's a gender thing. I think it's a cultural thing where society tells, if you have a penis, you must act this way, and if you have a vagina, that you must act this way. But the pressure, the indoctrination that we get, they even say we hold baby boys differently than we're rougher with them immediately. That if you they did this whole study, they wrapped babies in blue or pink blankets, and they actually weren't different. They mixed the genders, but they studied like how people held them, and they're like, if they thought it was a boy, they were much more... Like, you weren't paying attention to the individual, they were paying attention to what society said the blue blanket meant, which is really hard.
It's sad. Yeah. It's really sad. It makes my heart hurt.
Yeah, it does. Me too. Well, then I think just giving voice to it and letting people be aware, because when culture has its way with us when nobody's conscious of it. And when we start being at least aware that it's happening, we can go, oh, what am I doing? Versus, oh, that's just how it is.
And I think that it's that's just what it is. It's, where we're at today, which scares me. There was a recent story about football players from an Ohio State game. You and I were talking about this before, and I was watching the clip, and you're like, okay, it's a football game.
Yeah.
One of the guys is on the ground with someone else on top of him. The play is continuing. Another player comes in and physically, not even in this area, comes in, grabs the guy's behind, squeezes it. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Next, he reaches around and grabs his penis area. And so there's no, like...
It wasn't accidental or...
There's no accident. What did we just see? And later, so I was reading it and trying to find more. There wasn't a lot more past that, but I did see he finally apologized and just like, oh, it was an accident. It was just a joke. And I haven't seen anything since.
Yeah. Oh.
But for me, it's so many double standards. If that had been a female, everyone would have been up in arms, freaking out, screaming, what's going on? But because this is a guy, like, everyone's like, oh, shake it off. But who knows what he's going through right now? His family saw him sexually assaulted. Who knows mentally what's replaying in his head?
Yeah, and this video is now...
Fair. Where is he processing?
All over the internet. Everybody's now seen this happen to him.
Everywhere. And it's hard to see and want to just help everyone and save them and provide, like, hands to hold everyone. But you can't. And it's scary where we are right now in just our rape culture society. And I hate even calling it that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's kind of where we are. And it's sad to be there in 2017.
Yeah, it really is. Just quickly before we wrap up, you worked with these teenagers that have been assaulted. Do you have any tips for if someone knows someone that was assaulted or if someone was assaulted and they're male, what resources or what would you encourage them to do to start healing and getting help?
I would say, one, I'm sorry that this happened to you. You are stronger than what happened to you. There are a few places that I can give you, like, resources.
Yeah, great.
One is 1in6.com. Super amazing. They help with men specifically. hopeforhealing.com/male. They have a specific male support group as well. Okay. RAINN is great for sexual trauma, RAINN.org. But also just find someone that you can truly trust. Yeah. And don't feel pressured because everyone has to heal in their own time, and there's never a rush time. You are your own person. Keep protecting yourself and healing as you can.
Yeah, and even if you think it's minor and you should be over it, realize that it can be, if you felt powerless when you were younger, like, it can trigger on top of other traumas that may not have been sexual, but the powerlessness, the feeling of not owning your own body can be reactivated by something that happens even years later.
Definitely. So, definitely stay aware of yourself and be honest with yourself.
I so appreciate you sharing that with us, Jimanekia. If you have comments, leave them below. We'd love to know what you think, and the links for the resources will be below as well.